Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Lair. This is our weekly podcast that we do here on True Life. I am Caleb. I'm the youth pastor at True Life. We are a youth ministry in Everett, Washington, and this is our YouTube channel. And so every single week, we do a lot of different kind of content, but when we jump into the Lair, it is a time for us to get together, to share some stories, to talk about some things, and look ahead to some stuff coming up for us as a ministry or coming up for us as a season of life. And so today, we're going to dive into the Lair. I got a couple of guests with me, and I want to introduce them to you guys. We got Jeremy, we got JC, and we got Sean with us. And so they're going to be joining us for our conversations. Tune on in, buckle up, whatever cliche thing we could say, and let's dive on into the Lair. Every single week to kick off our episodes, we take some time, though, to have some fun, just tell some stories, talk about some things. And so you guys, who had something fun happen this week? Who had something go down? Who got to enjoy doing something?
I can start us off. It's not one thing necessarily, but I did just get back from college, and while college is awesome and fun, and I was having the time of my life, I am so happy to be back here at True Life with my other family here. I just love you guys. I love hanging out with you every Wednesday. We did some fun things like Big. Big was amazing. All my J-High students out there. We played some fun games. They won a ton of fun prizes, and it was all around just a great time. So I'm glad to be back. Yeah.
What was one of the biggest games at Big Night?
Oh, well, you know, Battleship was my game, and that's the game I had the most fun with. Lots of competitive matches, actually, and all the kids did really well. So it was a great time.
I'm pretty sure I remember getting out, like being the first person to get out in Battleship, like 3 or 4 like different games. Like I was just so unlucky.
If you guys don't know, the Battleship game we did is we actually made our entire gym a giant Battleship board. And so the next time we have an event, you might get to partake, might get to play a little bit, might get to enjoy it. But all right, who else? Who's got some stuff that's gone down this last couple weeks?
Well, I'm also back from college, and it's, of course, I love the TL fam here and my real family and everything, and also being able to hang out with friends. We've been a little hobby of our friend group has been to disc golf. So we even went disc golfing this morning. So that is just something that we all get a bond over, and it's been lots of fun. So I think I've gone like 3 different times. We go with Pastor Kyle. Pastor Kyle is way better than all of us, though. So we don't really count him when scoring the tallies and everything because It's just not fair.
That's awesome. JC, you have anything go down the last couple weeks?
This last weekend, I actually had the opportunity to celebrate a friend who's getting married and celebrate ending college, actually. So just like it's the end of their college year, it's also the end of mine. And for me, I just do the partnership program here at Bethany Christian Assembly. And yeah, so we were just...
You're just having a good time.
Yeah, I was having a good time. We went over to Pastor Lexi and Steven's house, and we ate some really good food and just had a lot of fun.
Nice. Well, very cool. Well, I think for me, I don't even know. I think the most exciting thing that happened in my week is like, I've been playing
the lumberjack run.
I did go to the lumberjack run. I ran in it, got 5th place.
Oh, okay.
You know, like Snohomish High School, good job. Just like making me feel very slow, though, because most of the people ahead of me were from there. But that was a lot of fun. And then I've been playing a lot of Sticks and Stones on Cold War. So it's a game mode on there. Been enjoying that a little bit. Well, here's the deal. Every week, we don't just want to have some fun and tell some stories. We also want to go in depth on some stuff. And the thing we want to talk about for a little bit this afternoon, this evening, this morning, whenever you're watching this, is we want to take a second to talk about our generosity kind of initiative that we're doing as a youth ministry. Every single month, we have generosity nights where we are honoring God by giving money to a cause that we're just like, man, this is going to have a big impact. This is a fruitful ministry. This is a ministry that's going to change lives. And for us, then, the ministry we've partnered with is called Speed the Light. And you guys, we announced it earlier this week, that we had raised another $1,300 for Speed the Light.
That is so awesome.
The last time we raised $1,100. When you add the change up in there with some of the dollar amounts, you guys have raised $2,500. Like, that's wild already after 2 months for Speed the Light. And so really quick, we just want to talk about why Speed the Light. Why do we give to missions? Why do we give to these ministries? And what's kind of the impact of where this money is going? And for all of us, all four of us are people that have given to this kind of a theme before. Maybe we've gone on missions trips before. We've gotten to see the impact in some ways when it comes to Speed the Light. And so we just want to share a little bit about how you guys, with your generosity, are literally like changing communities.
Yeah, it's a really important thing. As someone that has gone on a mission trip, I went to Eswatini, or Swaziland as it was formerly known as. And when we were down there, you see the impacts of giving all around us. The church that we helped build was funded by people at this church. And now you guys, as our youth program, now gets to do something similar, whether that's funding like a van or helping to build a building. It might not seem like you guys might necessarily not see like where it goes directly, but I can assure you it does go to a great place, and it goes to help people. And being able to see that in person is crazy and life-changing. It just gives you a whole new perspective on it all. And yeah, it's just a great cause.
Totally.
Well, I think that's why those videos that they play before the giving or offering or at the beginning of service that like talk about, like a van was enough money for a van was raised, or there was like projectors that were bought for these missionaries, and all of those videos are real life examples, and they're all something that like you can look to and kind of be like, oh, well, like that's cool, but I don't know, but like that's literally like what the funding is for, and what like the money goes to. It goes directly to those things. So like even when we went to East Watini, we got to see a park that was built by BCA and by other churches. It was just so cool to see. And there was even a sign that said like, thank you BCA. And it's just so cool to see that impact.
Totally.
So I've actually never went on like a third world country missions trip, but I was able to go to San Francisco when I was going into my sophomore year of high school, and it's just crazy to see, like the need everywhere in the world. When people think of missions, they just think of like going to Africa and like helping the kids there, but like in San Francisco, we were able to just like help the homeless population and feed them and all of that stuff. And so, yeah, but it was just really cool to work with those people, but also like just to encourage you guys, maybe you're not called to go on the missions field or be a part of missions in that way, but God still calls us to be a part of the missions field, whether that be in our communities or even giving to Speed the Light like you guys have been doing. So thank you for your obedience and just following the call of God.
Totally. True Life, I just want you guys to know every single time that we have told people how much has come in from these offerings, the collective reaction is wow. It's people just being baffled. Them just being like, holy cow, like how is this community doing this? And just honestly, like that is something, one, to actually be a little bit proud of. Be like, man, we're stretching ourselves. Like we're being generous. We're reaching out. We're caring for others. But also, I just want to encourage you, be inspired by that. Be excited about that. You are doing something different. You're doing something that makes people be like, man, how is that happening? Because it's not typical. It's not normal. It's extraordinary, and it's going to have an amazing impact. Like even at this point, if we were to stop our giving and say we're going to be good with $2,500, like that's already awesome to see a youth ministry give that much. But you guys, that's not why we're doing it. We're not doing it for the sake of raising a bunch of money. We're doing it for the sake of honoring God in our generosity. Yeah. And so I just want to say, way to go. Awesome job. And just like all these guys were saying, that money is going to have an impact, whether it's going to a church and to a missionary in Africa to serve their communities over there, whether it's going to missionaries who are domestically trying to serve the need already within our country, or it's just going out and being able to see it just affect somebody's eternal life anywhere around the world. It is amazing. It's having an impact. And thank you from us on behalf of these missionaries, because I guarantee you, if you were able to go to these missionaries and go up to them and say, hey, we gave $2,500 in 2 months to Speed the Light, they would be so thankful because they know how far that money can go.
For sure.
I'd also just encourage you guys with just don't let the amount that you personally may be giving be something that hold you back or make you think that you're not contributing like to make a big change, because it doesn't matter how much you're giving. Like, even if it may seem small to you, or like it's like what you have, just know that the impact is so much greater and so much bigger than what you might be able to think, because we know that God can bless that and God can use that in ways that we don't even think of or dream of. So just know that, like, even like a couple bucks that may not seem like a lot to you, don't let that be the reason why you don't give. Don't like let yourself say like, oh, I can't give you like however much, like I might as well just not give because it's not going to help. Because every single dollar, every single cent helps like add to this goal of ours.
Yeah, and like Sean said, like God blesses that and he multiplies what you're giving. He calls you to give a certain amount, and a certain amount is put on your heart for a reason. So let's say, they have a goal of $2,500 and they're short of $17. And that $17 that you're giving is getting them to that $2,500. So you never know why God is putting a certain amount on your heart. So just be obedient and be joyful as you give that.
Yeah, and that's why this is a community effort. Like we talked about this the other week when we were going together and we were saying, hey, how much do we want to raise? Our goal for this last generosity night was $700. And the reason why we landed on that number is we were like, man, if 50 people brought $15, that would be $700. And we were like, man, that's the collective power of us all coming together and saying, what can we give? And so for you, it might be 15, it might be 50, it might be 5, it might be $1. But guess what? That's still impactful. That's still great.
Sure.
And we read in 1 Corinthians, it talks about how God's going to put on our heart what we are to give, and that God loves a cheerful giver. And so again, if you're watching this, you're like, hey, I'm not going to give to this. That's cool. You guys have had this happen, but I'm not feeling led to give to Speed the Light. That's okay. God does not want us to give out of a heart of compulsion or out of a begrudging kind of state, but really out of just a cheerful heart of just like, man, God, you've put this on my heart. I want to honor you in this way. And that's why for us, when it comes to giving here at True Life, it's all about honoring God and honoring what God is calling you to. And so again, as we have more and more of these opportunities, we'll have them every single month. If you felt God place on your heart an amount to give, take that moment, make sure to seize the opportunity, and make sure to participate, because you know what? We want to honor God to the best of our abilities. But with that being said, we got to keep moving. So one more thing that we always do here at the Lair is we make sure to look ahead, and we want to actually look to a season of life that many people that are a part of True Life are about to step into. That's our seniors, and that is stepping into college. Now, right now, up on this stage, we got 3 who are in college. We have myself, who's graduated from college, and all of us have taken a journey to get to where we're at when it came to college. And so really fast, in just like a minute each, let's just talk about why did you choose the path you did to go through college and to now be kind of moving forward in life. Why did you choose that? What has that path been? Why has it been beneficial?
Well, I'll start us off here. My college path looked like my first 2 years of college. I chose to go to Everett Community College right by Bethany, actually. And then after those 2 years, I headed down to Arizona to GCU, Grand Canyon University, and that is currently where I am. The main reason why I chose to go to community college first was just to save money. I was working, but not enough to just fund my whole college adventure right away. And so I did choose to go to community college. I got to play soccer there, which gave me a scholarship and just lowered the cost for me a lot. And I got to stay local, live at my parents' house, rent-free and all that. So that was all super nice. But after those 2 years, I am now getting the university experience with at Grand Canyon University. And I thought it was just a great balance between the two, because I knew I wanted to go to college, but to make it more realistic and affordable, I chose to do the 2 years at Everett Community College.
Awesome.
For me, I actually have always wanted to be a part of BCA since I was in high school, actually. Every time I would go to summer camp, I would be like, oh my gosh, that church is so cool. I wish I was a part of it. But Lexi actually pulled me aside, I think my sophomore year, and just started like really pushing ministry college. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to pray about it. And then someone who was actually from Mossy Rock, which if you guys don't know, I'm from Mossy Rock, a small town, south, 2.5 hours away-ish, in the middle of nowhere. And so Josh Vogel, for those of you who don't know him, he ended up coming here. He loved it, had a great experience. And as I just continued to pray about it, I really felt like this is where the Lord was calling me for the first 2 years of my college career. And one, it's way cheaper than Northwest University. Nothing against Northwest University. It's just cheaper. And two, I got the opportunity to serve hands-on in ministry, which is what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I'm so thankful. And I got scholarships after scholarships, and I've actually been able to go through this program for basically free other than books. And so I just think it's super cool to see how the Lord bless my finances, bless my living situations, my jobs, and all of that stuff for provision. And then this fall, I'm actually going to be moving to Florida, Southeastern University. As sad as I am to leave Bethany, this is absolutely where the Lord's called me. And you know, during COVID, I was just praying about what this next season looked like for me, if I was going to stay here or move on. And the Lord just kept giving me so many signs to go to Florida. And then I visited, and it just felt like home. And so I'm super excited. I wanted the college campus vibe. So I'm excited to go through that the last 2 years of my college career.
For sure. Well, surprise, surprise. My college journey is very similar to Jeremy's. I also went to Everett Community College for the first 2 years and am now at GCU. And I think for me, what I went through during that process was just very an indecisiveness on where I wanted to go. And that was kind of another reason why I wanted to go to community college, because that felt like the safe option. That was obviously cheaper. It was closer to home and everything. And I was very thankful for that time, because that was kind of the time that I got to just rest in God and just hear from God. And basically all 2 years I was thinking like, okay, I'm here for 2 years. Where do I want to go next? And that was kind of just when I got to be praying about it, and God was speaking to me. And I think he allowed me to go to Everett Community College so I could be more confident in the college I chose for my last 2 years. And I did end up choosing GCU after a lot of thinking. I mean, I applied for 3 or 4 different colleges and was just really just stressed a lot of the time, just working through the pros and cons. I visited them all, and it was just a time for God to reveal like GCU is where he wanted me to go. So that was a really cool experience that I just got to go through. And now the same thing is kind of happening where I'm at GCU, and now I'm doing the same thing for a potential career I want to get into. So I think he's just kind of been like step by step walking me through it, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
No, that's so good, Sean. You know, for me, my college experience is that I did 4 years straight into Northwest University. It did cost a bit more money. And so that is a little bit of something I've had to realize. But for me, I grew up in Arlington, Washington, so just up north, just a little bit. It's not super small of a town, but it's a smaller town. I went to a smaller church growing up. I knew I felt called to ministry, and so I was like, I'm going to go to Northwest. And honestly, like if I hadn't have gone there, I wouldn't have ended up at BCA, because I wouldn't have made some of the connections that I got that made it where I was like, man, this is a church I could go to. This is a church I could be a part of. And then it led to the opportunity for me to get to now serve on this staff with True Life and all of those different things. And so for me, that was a path that worked out well. But really the thing that I want to encourage you guys as you're watching this with, and the reason why we're talking about this is, man, there's a lot of different paths. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. And ultimately, I just want to encourage you, if your goal, if your heart is, God, I want to honor where you're leading me, guess what? You can't make a wrong step, because God's going to help you get on the right track. Maybe you make a step and you're like, man, that wasn't the ideal one. Guess what? God can work with that still. And so step boldly, step confidently, and also know you got a community that loves you, that cares about you, and wants to help you continue to take the steps closer to where God's calling you to be. But with all that being said, we got to wrap it up. And so I want to say thank you to you guys for joining us today. We want to say thank you to you guys for checking this video out, for joining us in the Lair. But we're going to exit, we're going to leave, and then we will see you guys next time in the Lair.